Week 13. Week 13. Almost there. One more week of regular season.
It's week 14 this week.
Yeah, it's week 4.
Week 13 was.
That was a week. Well, we're going to talk about week 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Real quick though, before we get started, since we're coming up on playoffs, I mentioned this in the league chat yesterday, but I wanted to make sure that everyone understood that the way that the 6 seed rule works is that it switches the seed with the team that comes into 6th place. So for example, so Joe's in 6th. Actually, this is a bad example because Joe is actually probably going to get 6th place. Let's say Joe is 8th and I am 6th. Come week 15, those 2 seeds are just going to flip. And then I'll end up being in 8th, and then Joe will end up being in 6th. So the consideration here I want for people in the offseason to think about is if they're okay with that system, or if it makes more sense to reseed the entire toilet bowl so that the team that gets flopped out of 6th then gets 7th, and then everyone else just goes below that. Because there's a situation in which the 11th or 12th seed, the teams that get the first round bye in the toilet bowl, come from the 6th seed. So like you could be 6th and then be 11th or 12th, potentially. Which
I
is
do want to say there is a crazy Steve scenario here where Danny loses, right? If Danny loses and Joe wins and Skot loses, that puts Joe in 5th seed, and that creates a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 team shootout where anybody is shooting for 6th.
That's crazy.
Which is kind of insane. Like I didn't realize it until last night that the Steve.
That's what Steve was talking about. Yeah,
that Steve was talking about. Now he's not even in the running for it. But
Steve isn't?
Matt, Ben.
That's too bad. That'd be funny.
Matt, Ben, Kelsey, Josh, and you are all within 10 points of each other.
Yeah.
So all of you have a shot at the 6th seed if you lose.
If both of us lose.
Danny loses.
Yeah. Honestly, that would be the funniest result, and I'm kind of hoping for that because I'm already kind of expecting not to make playoffs. But that would be the most chaotic, awesome end of the season, is for it to just be this crazy last minute thing on Monday night.
It would be kind of wild. But if Danny loses and you win, you just take 5th seed and Joe takes 6th seed and it's over.
And conversely, if both Danny and I win, I'm still out. I need Danny to lose because Danny
Danny to lose.
Unless I get a historic day where I get like a million fucking points, which is not.
Well, you'd have to cover his 30-point spread right now.
Yeah, but the way my team's going, that's not going to happen.
I need to. Funny enough, I've caught up to Jordan in the last week.
That's because Jordan's fallen off a bit the last couple of weeks.
I could take the number 1 if I cover 12 more points.
Yeah,
he started to fall off after kicking the shit out of me when I scored.
I think he threw so that Casey could stay in the playoffs. I'm just gonna say it.
Casey,
dude, he stopped selling all them rules to fucking Amon-Ra.
Yeah, so I guess let's start with the matchups. Is there you want to start from the bottom to the top this week? Or you do ours first? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's just do our matchup first. That's easy.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sent Blarg into the Shadow Realm. He was really upset with me. I didn't.
Oh wow, yeah,
dude.
Oh, is this why he changed his name to Surrender?
The last 2, Surrender Cobras. The last 2 weeks, I've needed to win. I needed to pull out a win to seal playoffs, and I just have not been able to do it. You are
starting P Ryan, so yeah.
Unfortunately, P Ryan didn't P Ryan all over Trevor.
Nope.
He's done that before.
Because he likes me. That's my boomer friend. So we're chilling.
Well, P Ryan famously fucking shit all over Trevor one year because I think it was one of our buddies picked him up from the waiver wire and just played him for no reason because he had no running backs.
And he popped off with 20 or 30 points.
It was this game. I think it was 2. Yeah, it was this game right here. last
30
year.
points, yeah.
He got 30 points.
Oh, was that the week that like Mixon got hurt originally?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was one of the
Yeah.
weeks where he was backing up Mixon, and they just ran the ball like crazy, and he just got everything. But anyway, I was
Yeah,
hoping that was my long shot, harebrained scheme to try and get that going. I got a touchdown, Trevor, and it was the player we
Yeah.
traded.
Yeah, you're
Michael
welcome.
Pittman got me a touchdown.
That's what I was telling you. I was like,
Broke
my boy
the
at least got
seal.
you a touchdown.
Broke the seal. It's my first one in 3 weeks. I'm so excited. Welcome to
So
the
far, that
crew.
trade's not working out for me at all. Chris Jones is like falling off and not doing.
Has
jack
not
shit.
been jonesing for a sack.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he's-
after the trade that we made, my team has fallen into the shadow realm. So
But I mean, but like the player I gave you is the only one producing for
I
you.
need more
so, like-
pits. That's the problem. So I got the pit crew. I got the Jackman.
Yeah,
You know,
I was
F1
saying
racing.
Pittman, Pitts, and Pickens. He needs more PI names
I need more
because
Pitts.
they're the only ones that score for
Well, that's
him.
because Kyle Pitts, he's got, the lollipop man, the guy with the little sign that's like, here, pit stop, right here.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there, he's holding his little flag up, being shitty. Kyle Pitts is still hurt. Like, I was watching him, and he's still
He's limping
lumbering. Yeah, he's lumping. He's limping.
Lumping.
He's lumping around.
He's lumping around out there in the field. Like the mechanism of an MCL tear and an ACL tear is pretty straightforward to fix, but as far as the actual
knee
rehab
sprain.
process, it's different for everybody. He's clearly, because he's fucking 6'6", and he's big, like he's 250 pounds. He's basically got the profile of a lineman, and he has to run full speed. So it's like, it's a little bit different than tearing your ACL and being like a small, like, 6 foot. Well, that's not really small, but like a 6 foot 180, like modern prototypical NFL receiver. They probably trust their legs a little bit sooner than a player that's that heavy and that tall because of the mechanics of the knee and everything. But yeah, Pitts is rough.
And just blocking, like I'm sure that takes more out of you than like running a route, Like he's got to do that.
Yeah.
A
So-
receiver's not doing that.
The funniest thing for me all week this week is I hold Puka Nakua on my taxi squad until this week, and I thought he had a rib injury, but it turns out he fucked his AC joint up. So of course I play a player, and then he gets cursed with my shoulder injury.
I mean, that tracks.
That's on brand.
Well, he-
What the
That's
fuck?
exactly how the taxi squad is supposed to work. Is you're supposed to be like really hesitant to move them off and make the roster decision,
Well-
and then it doesn't work out. That is exactly how
Well, it
it's
worked.
supposed to work.
It worked out, but the fact is that now he's one arm. He's one armed for the rest of the season.
He actually
Yeah, that's
said
rough.
after the game that he thought that his ribs were broken. But
Oof.
he went to McVay because the trainer, he went to the Blue Medical tent, and then the trainer looked at him and he said, "Oh, I don't feel so good." And then he was talking to McVay, and McVay was like, "I don't know. How do you feel about it?" And he said, "I'm good. I think my ribs broken, but I can play, coach." That's basically the conversation he had with McVay. So he's a gamer. He's
Yeah.
clearly really tough.
He's gonna keep playing.
Yeah, he's
But
that
I just
kind
feel
of guy.
so bad for him because he fucked his AC joint up, which is this. It's your shoulder and your shoulder blades. That's why he thinks it's his ribs, because it's your upper two ribs that
Yeah.
when you hurt your shoulder blade like that, your shoulder blade comes down and jams into your ribs, and essentially just smacks them over and over and over until there's like bruising and torn tissue there. And so I don't know how many more games he's gonna be able to play like that.
Yeah. Oh, real quick on Kyle Pitts before we move
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Jimmy Graham has more touchdowns than him this year.
Oh my god.
That's a cursed stat. He has like 2 catches for 2
ridiculous.
touchdowns, and that's more than Kyle Pitts has.
And Jimmy Graham's on the
No
Saints. It's not like the
shot.
Saints are a good team.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts has 1 touchdown all year.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Also, the
That's
offense,
so bad.
the offense that he's playing in, basically utilizes him as a deep threat and a blocking tight end. Desmond Ridder is not an accurate quarterback. He does not.
Well,
he cannot arm it out,
yeah.
and he's inaccurate. they
well,
don't give him the
Heineke-
easy stuff over the middle.
Heineke was the only one that got the ball to him.
Yeah, but they
When he
pulled him.
played.
Like
And they, of course,
Heineke.
pulled him.
Heineke's been rough, so. And I understand it. They want to go with the quarterback they drafted in the second round to see what they got. Heineke's kind of a known quantity. I don't think that Arthur Smith thinks that he's the future. And
Didn't-
he drafted Ridder.
I mean, I feel like. I mean,
Wait,
I understand they
how do
want to
you think
give him
that-
more time, but like, I feel like there's been enough games in a row now to where they're like they can kind of see Desmond Ritter's not the guy.
I think
Yeah,
he's hurt. Like he actually he got hurt
they're
that
both
first
hurt.
game. And so,
Ritter
like,
He's
and
cleared to
him are
suit.
both hurt.
He's cleared to suit up. It was a hamstring, and as
Yeah.
a quarterback, a hamstring's not that big of a deal. He's not a mobile quarterback. He's a pocket passer.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where will his throw get affected? He might lose like 5 yards on a throw, but like it's not.
he wasn't throwing deep anyway. So
It wasn't throwing deep. He was throwing to Kyle Pitts right over the fucking middle, and he never runs.
No,
it.
it's,
So
you
it's
mean
not, it's-
Kadarrell Hodge and fucking Scotty Miller and Michael Pruitt. Those are the and Jonu Smith. Those are the guys that are throwing the route. They run them over the middle. Kyle Pitts runs like 9 routes and like deep balls only. It's so frustrating. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
well,
also,
you can just hope that that division
Well,
actually
the fact is that they're not even utilizing one of the best running backs in the league. Like, correct.
they're starting to. After the bye, they really started ramping up Bijan Robinson's usage, but they aren't utilizing Drake London.
Yeah, I was about to say
Drake
like
London
the other
got
one, Drake
one-
London isn't like
He got
being
like
used.
1 point this week. He got 1 reception. They targeted 5 times, but it's all on inaccurate balls. And this game was a fucking mess too. It's the Jets. They have 2 elite corners that are going to lock you down and make it really hard to throw on them. And B, MetLife Stadium. C, it was raining like crazy in this game.
Oh, the East Coast was like weather.
The
was
entire
crazy.
East Coast, it was raining, which
Like, did you see
affected a
that
lot of games.
the Steelers game
The delay
was delayed?
It was
of,
delayed
like,
until like the evening game. It kept going. I was joking with Trevor. I was like, just fucking end it already. Marquise Brown is out. Like he had a heel. I played Marquise Brown. It got me a donut. He was out he was questionable to return due to a heel. And then they kept delaying the game. And I was like, am I going to see this guy on the field? Am I going to see this guy on the field? And then it was like the evening. And then the game finally like finished. And I was like, no, he didn't play. Sick. Oh, and Mitchell Trubisky is their quarterback now
But
because Kenny Pickett
Marquise
got injured.
didn't even leave until the third quarter. But he only
he played 2 quarters. He played 2 quarters.
it says right here, Brown left the game with a heel injury in the third quarter, never returned.
Well, it must have been the beginning of the third then, because
Still in 3 quarters,
It was
or
hard to
2.5
follow
We'll
that
call
game,
it 2.5,
too.
3 targets. That's all he got, which is so bad.
Also, Kyler Murray he can't throw deep, and that's how
He's
they
hot
use
ass.
him.
He's always been hot ass. They had a better quarterback in Josh Dobbs, and they fucking gave him to Minnesota.
Well, they want to see
The
what they
other thing
have
about
there.
like the Cardinals
They're
right now too is they only have Marquise Brown and Greg Dortch as like receivers. They don't have anybody else.
They have Trey
really.
McBride,
Yeah,
who we'll talk
Yeah.
about later.
I mean,
but-
that's still like 2 guys that are like underneath, and like you need for Marquise Brown to like. It's like every other like deep threat. You need 2 guys going out like on the outside.
yeah,
Like there's no magic to it. It's just math. It's just the math.
it's just math. Brian Burns and Dre Greenlaw both got ejected, so I didn't get shit from them this week either.
that's wild to me.
Dre Greenlaw got in an altercation with a Philadelphia security guard, and
Didn't he try and punch him? Wasn't that the story?
basically the security guard came down, said something to him, and then the clip is funny because Dre does like this, like he reaches for his like I got your nose, like that sort of thing. It's like, what are you doing? It's like he doesn't even make he just like goes for his nose like this, like I got your nose thing, and then
Fucking
the ref
what?
probably thought he was punching him because like I don't know, they were just jawing at each other, and then he
It's
ended up
also a
getting
contentious
tossed.
game, probably.
It's a contentious game, yeah, very frustrating for Philly. But then Brian Burns got annoyed because that game was also a disaster for the Panthers, and he ended up punching a lineman in the helmet, which is stupid, but he got ejected. So 2 of my players got ejected. Kyle Pitts is hurt. I got a donut from Marquise Goodwin because he got injured. And yeah, Jamal Adams also gave up the game-losing touchdown on an embarrassing pass to Turd Ferguson.
Changed his name from Turd because he got that.
Yep, Tud. Now he's got the Tud. And then there's this whole shenanigans on Twitter where a Jets beat reporter that doesn't like him posted the clip of that play, and then Jamal Adams posts a picture of
that
his
is
wife.
I'm dumber for
the
knowing that,
dumbest
man.
thing I've ever seen. People are losing their mind on social media about it. And you know what? I unsubscribed from 2 football guys that I've been watching for years. And one of them's their name is Microphone.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
The
about.
biggest crybabies I have ever seen in my life. There's a reporter that came after Jamal's livelihood, profession, and the things he holds dearest. And you think that man's not going to respond with what you hold dearest? You're out of your fucking mind. Jamal is one of the only players in the NFL still that uses 100% of his heart on the field. Lays it out on the field, lays his whole body on the line. You don't see that in players.
The Jamal slander I've seen is really egregious.
It's so cringe.
It's like
I fucking hate it.
They're
I
acting.
am so much dumber for knowing anything about that situation. Like,
Yeah,
it's
so it's so
stupid.
petty. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Jamal should have just taken the high road and said nothing. Everyone knows this, but it's like they're acting like him taking a.
No,
so-
I'm
so
all
for-
with. I'm all
so-
with.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for
I'm
it.
with Trevor on that, dude.
Yeah.
So what-
I'm all for
Like,
the yikes.
we need more KDs in the world, more Jamal Adams who are gonna
Yep.
like.
So for those
just,
of you
like,
who
say,
don't
tell
know,
people to fuck off. We need more of that.
for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, basically he took a picture of the reporter's wife and then reposted it and then said yikes. Because the other reporter said yikes and posted the picture of him giving up the game-losing touchdown last weekend. That's all. And the response on the internet has basically been like, he killed a dog in broad daylight or something.
Yeah, it's like Michael Vick. It is like.
They're literally Michael Vicking him, and it's like, yo, what the fuck is happening?
It's straight up character assassination, and I don't like it because like.
It's cringe.
Jamal Adams has had a really rough season, and there's a lot of angst around him as a player because of what the Seahawks gave up to get him, and he's been injured the vast majority of his career here. But give him a break.
Dude, the guy
This is all
went
I'm
from
saying.
being one of the best defensive players in the league to being constantly hurt. And you think that man's not thinking about that every weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not only that, but his season hasn't been like as bad as everybody thinks. It's just not the gaudy numbers.
He's
The
just
thing
not
is-
the guy from college.
The thing
Like,
is, though, is
old.
that
Like,
he's one of the top paid safeties in the league. Like, he's a top, and by position, he's top 5, and he's playing like a 50th best safety in the league right now. That's what people should be attacking him for. You know, it's like play better. Play better.
Yeah.
That's reasonable to ask for him. But
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
instead, we're all upset
totally
about
fine.
a tweet. he
there's
made.
a way to go about it where you can break down the things that he's done bad, which a lot of internet skeptics have done, without attacking him over a singular play that was the end of the game, that decided the end of the game.
The other,
Like, you don't need to go after one play when you can go after the entire thing and put down facts on paper.
yeah. The other thing is
Because
that
it's just low hanging fruit.
this-
That's all they're doing.
the person that did this, the Jets beat reporter, doesn't like Jamal Adams. Like, he's
Yeah, because
targeted
he
him. It's like since he was
Betrayed
in
their team and left, right?
since he was in New York, this specific
Yeah, it
guy
sounds
has
like a
had it in
personal
for
thing.
him. It is
that,
personal.
I just don't want to know.
And
I
that's
don't
why
wanna
he
know.
got so upset. I'm sure if it was just some nobody like me, if I posted that on Twitter, he wouldn't even look at it. But like, since it was this guy, got under his skin, and that's just the kind of person he is. Like, he is the guy who talks shit. He does that on the field. He does that on the field.
I don't necessarily think he's like an enforcer.
Yeah.
Like, when our players get into spouts with other players, and we even saw it in this last game, he fucking throws himself in the middle of it and pushes them away and takes all the heat.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking uppercutted some dude on the field the other day, and no one's even talking about that. They're talking about this fucking him
tweet.
calling out his wife, the
Yeah.
reporter's wife. If anything, you should be calling out the DK antics that he did the other day, where he fucking uppercutted a dude in the chin strap
Yeah.
when he got in Witherspoon's face. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are going after the wrong thing here.
It's just because it's social media and like it's dumb. Like,
Everyone,
I am dumber for knowing about
it's
it.
because everyone's terminally online, and like, yeah, I don't know. I think that Jamal could have saved himself some heat if he just like took the high road, but I just think that the response is a little ridiculous. I'm not saying what he did was like right or anything. I just think that the response from the fans is just, it's gone too far. Cause like Joe Mixon is a known wife beater. Tyreek Hill, known wife beater. Kareem Hunt had that fiasco where he kicked a girl and it was on film.
In the face.
And
Say Jones just got arrested. We saw his picture in court.
Von Miller just got arrested for domestic abuse this weekend. But like no one admonishes these guys like they are.
Wow, every
Jamal
single
Adams.
Player on my team has domestic violence charges. Let's go.
Yeah, just like the wife beaters.
Oh yeah, wait, no, you know how to pick them, bud.
Hey, quintessential CTE players. You know what I'm saying?
I did want to point out with the Seahawks loss this weekend, it ended with a bonehead play where they decided not. The design play was to have the tackle, basically the tackle pinches down and to throw a quick screen to the running back. So game on the line, 4th down play was to basically check down to DJ Dallas, leaving Micah Parsons unblocked. That was the design.
Like, the fundamental problem with that play is you're asking a not terribly athletic person in the NFL,
DJ Dallas
to out move Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Like, just at a fundamental level, like an average NFL like athletic guy, which is, you know, more athletic than I'll ever be.
DJ Dallas is a replacement level player.
Top tier athlete.
He's a replacement level player. Like in terms of value, he's like the guy who may waffle between practice squad and active roster in terms of like filling in for injury.
He's our Darrell Henderson.
Yeah. But he can play special teams because he's got a
because
decent
we don't
enough.
Hurt anybody else.
Yeah, it's like he has a decent enough football IQ to know what to do in specific situations where he's needed, and he's a backup running back, and that's the guy that we have.
He can return punts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, special teams, so he can play special teams, and he's a borderline practice squad player.
It was not a good.
And he's
call.
The one. Yeah, it was a bad fucking call. Shane Waldron.
Oh my God, it was
embarrassing.
Yeah, that was awful.
But on the good side of that game, DK finally woke up, much to my chagrin, and I ended up playing against him in like basically every fantasy league I play in this week. He got 3 touchdowns. So
and 100 yards, right?
Like a million fucking yards. And he looked like a man. And like, where are the people now that were saying, "Oh, trade DK Metcalf"? Why is he wasting so much time learning sign language when he could learn how to catch a ball?
Could we just like admit that like we need to throw more in-breaking routes? Like, I feel like that isn't a thing we've seen too much from, and it's just like, why not? They seem to work. Our guys seem to be able to do it. Could we do that more?
Can we get a hat trick every week from DK? That'd be awesome. I'll take it.
Only if we win. You can only have it if we win.
I don't even care at this point if we win because we're not really in the playoff shootout. Like we are, but we're not. Like we needed to beat Dallas to really be in the wild card there. And the refs made sure that we weren't going to beat Dallas.
Yeah, well,
they threw a flag every fucking play of the second half of the game. So,
I mean, this is a total aside, but like the worst thing about like that loss is it puts us at 500. We're now 16th in the draft order, and that is just outside the range to get one of the top 3 guys, and we don't have the like ammo to move up. And like, if we walk away
unless
with
they take draft picks from next year and the year after,
maybe. I mean, we'll see if they do that, but like, I'm not going to bet on that.
I want them to do that. If they have a quarterback they believe in, like if they're looking at Jaden Daniels, for example, and they're like, we need him, and they trade up to 6th to get him or whatever.
I mean, if there's a guy, I would like you to trade up, yeah. But also, like, at this point, like, all the drafts have us, like, not taking a quarterback because we're too far out and, you know, not going to do trades at this point because the cycle hasn't started, really. And then, like, it's all offensive interior linemen, which we do need, sure. But it's, like, that's just sad. It's just, like, not what you want.
Next year's draft class is loaded, though, with quarterbacks.
This is just about the most boring playoff year I think that's going to be in existence.
So many injured quarterbacks.
Literally on the AFC side, it's the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Like, yeah, the Ravens are in second, but like, are they
really gonna?
Are they really gonna be able to perform in the playoffs? Like, no.
Without Mark Andrews?
We'll
like
see.
the fucking Browns are in the shootout right now,
and Joe Flacco's starting, and
like,
and Amari Cooper's not playing next week.
Yeah,
like,
what year is it? Is it?
Yeah.
What the hell, Joe Flacco?
Yeah. Dude, I didn't realize it. He's got 15 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
He was
old?
He was a Super Bowl MVP, motherfucker.
He beat Tom Brady on the way too.
Yeah, I love Joe Flacco. He is flash in the pan. Definition of flash in the pan. He's coasting on that. Real quick on the ref situation in the Seahawks game, though. That was probably the greatest ref ball of all time because the refs had 257 yards and there were no punts for the 5th time in league history.
Hashtag team never kick.
Never kick.
All right.
Refs had 2.5 touchdowns.
So is that all you guys got?
Kamara fucking ruined me. And also he killed a ref. I don't know if you noticed this, but he ran out of bounds and landed awkwardly on a line
I saw that
judge.
picture. That was Kamara?
Yeah, that was Kamara.
I saw the picture of the ref like holding his leg.
Absolutely destroyed a line judge. Or a chain. One of the guys who does the chain. I think he was either a chain gang or a line judge. It was one of those two guys. But his knee, it's not supposed to be in that position. Let's just put it that way. It was fucking, and on the broadcast too, like the guy was fucking screaming. It's like in the case of like a player injuring themselves like that, they stop the game and everything. But like because this was just a ref, it was just like, and he runs out of bounds, and the guy's like, ah! He's fucking dying on the ground, and they just do the next play.
It's like you already know that there's a backup ref that's been sitting in a fucking box for like 10 years waiting for this
He's
moment.
like, this is my time. Holding 10 yards, first down. Throws the flag. He's like, thank God. Anyway, I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny because, of course, it's a Trevor's player that does that to a ref.
Fuck refs.
But
ref killers.
All right.
That's one of my favorite things about DK. Is there's like a mic'd up moment this year where the ref comes over and talks to him, and he's like, "Well, if you're in my way, I'm gonna run you over." Like,
you call a ref a bitch or something at like the first game?
No, it was that moment I'm talking about where he's like, "I'm gonna keep going until the whistle is blown, and if you don't blow the whistle and you're in my way, you're getting run over."
All right, we gotta talk about Jordan and Casey here.
All right,
Jordan, what is going on, man? You're falling apart.
He's
throwing.
Nah, he's sandbagging. He threw so Casey could be in.
He's channeling Nile right now, bro.
Yeah, he's sandbagging right now.
His defense decided to stay home.
Yeah, Joe, you never got the pleasure of playing against Nile, but this dude every year would just smash us and would just like, I don't watch football really. It's not really that interested.
I'm a fucking liar.
I don't know what I'm doing. Shrug emoji, and he would just sandbag like crazy, and would make moves on the wire, and he would always get like the next like James Conner or whatever on the wire. It was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
And he had us fooled too. It wasn't like a normal like, okay, we can kind of tell you're sandbagging. For 2 fucking years, we had no idea that this man was actually a fucking fantasy god and just like lying through his teeth the entire time. Like,
that's really funny.
He's a legend though, because he just disappeared. Because after the year where Steve and Niall were in the championship and Steve ended up winning it on a stat correction, so Niall won the championship, and then the next Thursday there's a stat correction and his defense lost a point, and then Steve won. He quit. He was like, I can't do this. This is fucking
That's hilarious. Bullshit. That's really funny. He quit. Steve
made
him rage quit. That's really funny.
Because the year prior, he lost in the championship again. So like he lost in the championship, and then the next year he won the championship, and then lost it on a stat correction. And he was like, I'm done with fantasy. And we've never seen him again. So he went out with a bang.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a hell of a run. 2 years. Yeah.
So it's CMC. I mean, DeAndre Swift got injured, and it's just low output from wide receivers this week.
Yeah, floor game from Amon-Ra.
Rashad White is quietly an RB1. Like
from CMC.
Look at this every fucking week.
Well, a lot of the problem with his week this week was like you were saying with DeAndre Swift getting hurt, but also Keenan Allen. Like the fucking Chargers New England game was atrocious.
It is 6-0.
That was the worst. That was one of the worst games.
It wasn't even good defense. It wasn't even good defense. It was just
like
teams playing terrible.
I mean,
the Chargers have like Keenan Allen and a hurt Austin Eckler, and that's their entire team. And I mean, and then you've got like McCorkle Jones and Bailey Zappi trying to fight over like who can like run the worst offense. Like,
we'll get to it later, but Quentin Johnson had the worst drop. I also think it's
your fault for playing Russell Wilson and not Uncle Rico. That's on you, kid. You know, you also could have just like
Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions, 2 to Derek Stingley,
and somehow only has 2 less points than Uncle Rico.
That's because he balled out. Russ was rushing a lot, and he got a rushing touchdown, I think. Right? Yeah.
Gardner had a fumble, but Gardner also went 42 for 26. He only completed like a half of it.
That Colts game was fucking awesome though. That was like one of the best games of the year. There was so much shit going on in that Colts game. I'll show you guys the clip. Actually, since we're on it right now. Let's see. This was one of the. This is crazier than the fucking Mariota play. Yeah. This is crazy shit.
This actually makes me really like Will Levis. I still don't believe in him, but I really like him.
It's recovered, and he runs up and steals the ball back.
Yeah. It's fucking, that's so great. Like, I want him to succeed. I don't believe in him, but I want him to succeed because of this play.
Now, this didn't count. That could have been a touchdown, but so again, so it looks like he throws a interception here, but they ruled it a fumble.
No, he throws a pick, yeah.
No, this is a fumble. They ruled this a fumble.
Oh, okay.
Recovered by the defense. That's Will Levis. So
Will Levis goes.
Sprinted like 20 yards and then rips it out of Blackman's hands and recovers his own fumbled recovery. So he turned the ball over, punches the ball out from the defender, and then gets his own int back, basically.
I can't believe they ruled that a fumble and not an int. That's wild.
That's because it came out prior to his arm moving forward.
Yeah, the forward motion.
Yeah, forward motion hadn't completed. But
for how far they got,
It makes me so sad that Casey is not playing Will Levis. Because that would have been such a cool game to see Will Levis versus Uncle Rico in the game this week. But they didn't do it.
Yeah.
It would have been a really cool match.
Casey, why? I want to know why you're playing Derek Carr. Derek Carr sucks.
Yeah, dude.
Don't know what to tell you,
Derek
man.
Carr. Just stop playing him.
Also,
man.
Derek Carr has 3 separate injuries now. He was came out for a concussion, and then he had an ankle, and then also like his shoulder. Like he's fucked up. That's crazy.
I would have never. I don't understand why anyone would pick Derek Carr or use him.
The other thing about that Colts game,
he's so far over the hill.
So
not good.
So real quick on the other thing about that Colts game that was awesome, aside from the overtime thriller, was there was a series where the Colts blocked a punt and recovered it for a touchdown, and then the very next play they tried to do a 2-point conversion, but was intercepted and the 2-point try was returned. So the other team, so the Colts ended up getting or the Tennessee ended up getting the 2-point try in their favor. So it was a 6-point block punt return touchdown followed by an intercepted 2-point try for Tennessee. And then on the following drive, they went 3 and out, and then on the punt, that was also blocked. That is the most insane series of special teams and defense. On top of that Will Levis shit. This game was awesome. Yeah. For a random fucking small market
garbage game between garbage
divisional match, that was like one of the best divisional matchups of the year, hands down.
That's one of those any given Sunday,
that was all time.
Like 2 cliches. Yeah.
For
Casey,
Taysom Hill was vultured nearly vultured 2 touchdowns. It was crazy because it was like the Saints would get into the red zone, and then Kamara would get stuffed, and then they put in Taysom Hill, and then Taysom Hill would get the touchdown, and then like the next drive, they would get into the red zone, and then Taysom Hill would be in there, he would get stuffed, and then they put in Kamara. It was like it would alternate like that, and it was crazy. It ended up not really mattering.
Well, I mean, that's all they have. That's why Kamara gets 30 points every week, and why Taysom
they don't really have a backup running back, do they? Like, I don't even know. I think they have a rookie. I can't remember. I think they drafted a guy.
They have Kendre Miller, but he's hurt.
Miller. That's
they have
right.
Jamal Williams.
He got hurt.
And Jamal Williams, as like fun of the story of it was last year, he's not like the.
He's got no gas in the tank, I guess. Like, he's clearly not showing something in practice that the coaching staff.
They just don't trust him or something. I don't know.
When was his contract extension? Because he probably just has bagitis.
He's signed this year.
Yeah, so he has bagitis.
I mean, maybe.
I got the bag.
Maybe
it's not a bag year. Like that's.
Well, the thing with Jamal Adams, the thing with
on the brain. Scott's just so heated about this.
I am. But the thing with him is, what was he last year? He was the hammer for Detroit. And they used him as a goal line weapon, and that's it. But, like, that was his most productive season ever.
Yeah, as I say, he scored, like, 20 points a game, usually. He had a couple of bad games, but...
He broke Barry Sanders' record.
Fantasy-wise, like, he did really well
he was never anything prior to last year. So he's just returned to what he is. Like, he's always been a gadget player. He had,
sparks of it in, like, 2019, 2018.
Yeah, he's always been a gadget player.
He got replaced by A.J. Dillon. Let's put it that way.
Well, A.J. Dillon is, like, should be a better player. He's just not developing. A.J. Dillon is huge. Like, he's a running back. You know what I mean? It's basically a fullback with his profile.
Yeah,
but like he sucks.
So, but they try.
I don't know how much of that is like.
They've been trying to move off of Aaron Jones for a long time, I guess.
No, they just want. They know that Aaron Jones is a scat back, and they want a power guy. Like that's kind of the meta in the NFL these days. Is like
who knows what's going on with the fucking Saints? Jimmy Graham got a touchdown. He's 37.
That game was so crazy too, because the Saints were down like 21-0 right off the rip in this game, if I remember correctly, and then they clawed it back and made it a game.
Yeah, because Goff be goffing.
Yeah, Goff was goffing around. He was Goffle.
Dude, Goff.
I mean, they ended up winning. Detroit won.
I've got something to say about him.
But
good God.
I mean, there's a reason why when Blarg legitimately offered him to me, I was like, absolutely not. I will find a QB somewhere else.
Sam Laporta went off. I mean, Sam Laporta went off, and no one else on the fucking Amon-Ra didn't do anything.
Amon-Ra had the floor game.
Yeah, everybody had a floor game.
I mean,
but Laporta.
They didn't even use Jahmyr Gibbs really.
Saints
he has almost the same yardage as like.
Saints defense is pretty good. They struggled against the Lions, and they required spreading the ball around.
Because as much as we talk shit about the Lions this year are actually fucking playoff bound. So like,
oh yeah, no,
for the first time in forever.
Really their offense is really good. Yeah,
they look good.
But it's not because of Jared Goff. It's because of all the weapons that he has around him.
Casey though this week clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah.
So
Evan Ingram,
congrats.
Debo went off.
That Ayuk
Josh
Debo,
Allen,
the Ayuk Debo stack is deadly, and is basically the reason why he's in playoffs now. Is because of the last couple weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks, basically since the bye, I guess. The San Francisco offense has just been firing on all cylinders. They get nearly 40 points a game every single week, and it's all going to CMC, Ayuk.
And
Debo doing what he does relieves pressure from the defense to allow Ayuk to get open, and he's really athletic and is a good route runner, so he does that. And Purdy basically just needs to throw him a layup in order for him to be productive, and he's got sure hands, so always going to be good in that regard. Debo is still the yards after catch god, Like, you just get him the ball and he'll make something happen with it. And then they have CMC, who's the same kind of player as Debo, except he plays a different position. That offense is insane. Oh, and they have George Kittle. I didn't even mention him.
I was going to say George Kittle is
He's great.
If Ayuk and Debo are covered because, whatever the matchup is, like, then you have George Kittle, and George Kittle will have massive gains because he's the one
over the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you guys watched the Monday game, but Josh Allen was like fucking killing it. That was, I mean, other than the
Monday?
Tyler Boyd.
You mean Sunday?
No, this is a Monday game, right?
No. Yesterday was Jags.
Yeah, Josh Allen for the Jags.
Oh,
there are two Josh Allens.
That Josh. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the quarterback. My bad.
Oh,
You're talking about.
You had one of the funniest plays.
Casey's Josh Allen.
Yeah, Casey's Josh Allen. Gotcha. Trying to his best Josh Allen.
I'm sorry, this guy, Casey. I didn't want to disrespect your player there.
Dude, they ran this play for whoever the not Joe Burrow was.
Browning.
Yeah, Browning.
Like Husky elite quarterback.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot. UW quarterback. Yeah, he shovel passed the ball to Tyler Boyd, who then tried to throw it to Joe Mixon, and it got intercepted by Josh Allen.
That shit was insane.
As he tried to throw it. It was great.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are like, what is this?
I'm surprised. So I am actually thoroughly surprised Jake Browning has come into the league and done as well as he's done so far in the last 2 games. I expected what his performance was like in Baltimore to be every single game. Because he was not good in college. Like, he was okay. He was on a championship run team. But it wasn't because of Jake Browning. Jake Browning constantly overthrew his players, underthrew his players, fumbled the ball, slow. He was not a good pocket. The only reason that he looked as good as he did was because of the Myles Gaskin and the people that were surrounding him that year at UW.
Right.
So I'm so surprised and happy for him that he's actually a starting QB now.
Well, we've seen this time and time again where quarterbacks who come in look good for a couple weeks and then there's enough film on them that pro level DCs figure it out. So
so it is
will we have another Brock Purdy situation with Jake Browning, or will he turn into every backup quarterback that we know?
I think he's gonna be more like what's that dude's name?
Well, seeing as how he doesn't have Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, CMC, and
You mean Jake?
Well, Jake doesn't. Yeah, I mean he doesn't have the Niners team, so yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean he's got a pretty good roster.
Purdy is in his future.
He's got Joe Mixon.
He's got Tyler Boyd. He's got T. Higgins. He's got Jamar Chase. Trey Hendrickson, I think, is their tight end. I think.
But the next part is the San Francisco offensive line. I know it's not the world beater it was 2 years ago, but it's still really good.
Yeah, that line has regressed.
Yeah. It's still got some good players.
They got a couple good years. They got a Super Bowl appearance out of that offensive line.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, I'll take that.
I don't know why I'm spacing on the QB's name. He was a backup QB, and they ended up in the Super Bowl.
Nick Foles?
Yeah, Nick Foles.
Nick Foles won.
Or did they win? I thought they lost.
Yeah, that was
they won. Year. They beat the fucking Patriots.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite.
Right.
That was one of my favorite Super Bowls of all time, next to the one the Seahawks won.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl was amazing. I loved that. Mostly because
reminds me of a
Tom
Nick
Brady
Foles
lost.
esque player.
And it was high scoring. It was both teams had 30 plus points. That Super Bowl was fucking awesome.
That's right. It's hard to remember.
It would have been last year's. Last year would have been one of my favorites too if the fucking refs hadn't decided to throw a flag on a ticky-tack holding call. But that's just me.
Yeah. Welcome to the modern entertainment league.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all she wrote for Casey and Jordan. So Steve isn't here unless you wanted to.
Honorable mention Rashad White.
Oh yeah.
Rashad White.
I showed his stats. He's gotten 10 points for 10 plus points, almost 20 points for like 6 straight weeks. Dude is quietly a stud.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that, like, people don't really notice Rachaad White just because of the team. Like, outside of Mike Evans, who else are you excited for on Tampa Bay? And the only people who, I mean, Godwin.
Excited about Godwin. There's Baker.
Baker. We've talked about it a couple times on this podcast. Like, Baker Mayfield just is a single read guy. He can only really support one fantasy relevant wide receiver. Oh, look at this.
Perfect timing.
Do you feel it?
Steve, this is insane because we are on your matchup right now.
Yeah, about to go to your matchup right now.
Oh, well, what do you know?
All right, get on camera and let's talk about
this
fucking... So yeah, Steve. So Steve's been gone because he was driving home, but
the Packers Bowl.
This is crazy.
Packer violence right here.
Yeah, Packer Bowl here.
The Packer Bowl. All right, Steve.
You're lazy to not show up.
So man. Yeah, what the fuck, Tim Boyle?
Okay.
What happened?
The Tim Boyle story is this. 2 weeks ago, I traded Danny.
Yeah, how did you
Josh
get Lamar
Allen
Jackson?
for Lamar?
Oh yeah, he traded a 2nd round pick next year.
Josh Allen
and Josh Allen for Lamar.
2nd round pick. No.
I like that trade.
Danny sent me the 2nd.
Yeah.
So I got Lamar.
So you finally came down on your price after asking for the entire farm for him. That makes more sense.
I mean that
we got a franchise.
You wanted 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and my quarterback for fucking Josh Allen.
When your quarterback was injured.
No, it was you wanted Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford, Lamar, a different deal. Anyway, so
not really.
Lamar's on bye.
That's right.
And
I just saw that.
The entirety of everybody has 3 QBs rostered.
That is true.
There are so many.
And you traded away quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. So the last quarterback that was
you traded Purdy to Trevor for 4th.
To Trevor for 4th. Yeah. Yep. So the last quarterback that was liable to score any points on the waiver wire is my man, the Tim Boyle Laser Show.
So the Laser Show, where does that fucking come from? I'm not familiar with Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle used to be a Packers backup. And so during the preseasons, he would just be throwing absolute darts all the time. No, lasers, just constant lasers. And so the Packers community started calling him the Tim Boyle.
I thought you were just gassing him up. I thought that's what was going on.
It is an old nickname from his time as a backup in Green Bay.
Oh my
God.
I
mean, in no way was I expecting to win this, given the situation that I was in. Starting Tim Boyle as the last available quarterback on the waiver wire, who I could pick up. Trade deadline's passed, so I can't do shit about it on that regard. And the only dude on the waiver. So there's Tim Boyle. He had a Tim Boyle game.
That was one of the worst football games I've ever watched.
It was,
and I've said that a lot the last couple years. Like
I didn't realize it.
I think the worst ever was the Colts Denver game last year. That was probably the worst game I've ever seen.
This is up there.
But this is up there.
That Atlanta Jets game, that was bad. Breece Hall, also a casualty of that game.
Yep.
Jaden Reed did not.
It was raining. Hey, just be thankful. And I'm thankful. I was talking about this earlier, that your team played at MetLife and didn't suffer a career-ending injury.
That's huge.
I'm so happy. Like, Kyle Pitts and Drake London did nothing for me. But the fact that they did not get a career-ending injury on MetLife, in that, like, you saw that game. The weather was awful. It was super windy. It was raining like crazy. And it was the Jets. Jets defense, which is brutal.
Yep.
And I don't think there was any like significant injuries in this game, which was fucking crazy to me.
Well, it's because they were able to slip around instead of
exactly. All of the
they don't plant and then rip your ligaments.
Yeah.
You can't plant and rip the ligament. You can just slip and not rip the ligament.
You can just slip and hurt, get a bone bruise. Or
whatever. No, I got a bruise. It's football.
Yeah,
It was funny. The pregame predictions for the scores. One pundit said that it was going to be Falcons 3, Jets 2. As the final score, and then the game started with a Quinnen Williams TFL on Bijan Robinson for a safety.
Yep.
Which I am the beneficiary of.
I think you got the first safety. Or no, Casey got the first. You got the second safety of the season.
Safety, yeah.
But anyway, the score was 0-2, and then I was looking at the Falcons Reddit, and someone was like, "It's happening! It's happening!"
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Continuing on the duds, Breece Hall, Jets, just the Jets.
T. Higgins
happened in that game.
He's hurt.
T. Higgins is continues to be hurt and has Jake Browning delivering him the ball, which doesn't seem to be all that bad, but he's still not as good as
we were talking about it before you got on here, but
we just went over.
We decided Jake Browning's the next Brock Purdy, so.
Oh, okay.
So it's fine.
We'll see. We'll see. That will be interesting if that pans out.
I said he's more of a Nick Foles, but that's just me.
Nick Foles got a Super Bowl, man.
He's got all-time great nicknames too. Big Dick Nick,
Yeah.
Big Cock Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Will Anderson went the fuck off.
Jaden Reed didn't get anything. Will Anderson went the fuck off. Quay Walker had a disappointing game. Micah Parsons,
Will Anderson actually ate Denver alive.
Will Anderson had Denver's entire something.
That's the best game of his career, right? His pro career.
Yeah,
so far.
Easily.
Easily by far.
That game was awesome too.
He had a great game. It was a fun one to watch.
Wait, was Micah Parsons not credited with the sack for
that
last sack on Geno?
He did not get a sack.
It was just a QB hit because Geno was able to throw it away.
He grounded it. Remember, he threw it at DJ's feet.
I thought it was still a sack. I thought he was hit the ground before, but
they may wind up.
No, if you throw it away and
it will not affect my score.
Well, it didn't look like he threw it away in time. It looked like his knees were down.
It looked like he was, but I think they just counted as an incompletion. Anyway, Micah Parsons he had a real crummy game.
Well, the Seahawks did. We talked about we talked about it earlier. The Seahawks did a really good job getting Micah Parsons away from the game. Basically, they did a really good job of managing him and doubling up on him. We had Abraham Lucas out there, and the line looked a lot better this game, which is why Geno Smith was actually able to do something. And then at the very last play of the game, they did this bullshit where literally the design play was to check down to DJ Dallas and leave Micah Parsons on block.
Video on it?
It's real bad.
It's bad. There's a guy from The Ringer who does play breakdowns. His name's Ben Solak, and he broke down that play and explained what it was what was going on, and then he shows some other college game where they run it and it's and it's to show you what it's supposed to look like, and it's this is a terrible play call. Whoever thought this was a good idea, never trust them again.
Well, it's
not on Micah Parsons.
You know what's funny is that's literally shit Sean McVay does.
Yeah, well,
it's just the difference is that Sean McVay has the right personnel to pull that off.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really don't have anybody aside from Will Anderson and Keyshawn Nixon who went off. Ezekiel Elliott is a surprise bright spot and likely will be for a few weeks while Ramondre Stevenson's high ankle sprain gets better. Romeo.
He's on the wrong team, though. I mean, the Patriots are just a black hole for fantasy. Absolutely. And have been for a long time.
Nothing good coming out of that team.
I haven't really known.
That's all that was there.
Outside of
Keyshawn Nixon had a freak interception.
So outside of Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady and James White, I haven't really known a viable fantasy player for the Patriots.
Randy Moss.
Well, Randy Moss has been gone for a while.
Yeah, that's kind of
Randy Moss is a no-brainer, but
I mean, Edelman had a few.
It's been a while.
Years.
Edelman's
a good shout. Edelman's a good shout. He was
where that mattered.
Yeah, because he's a PPR machine. In standard leagues, he's not very good because he doesn't really get touchdowns. But in PPR, he's good for 11 targets and 8 catches a game and 100, which is insane.
The real question is this a prequel to the toilet bowl at the end of the year?
Steve and Ben?
Me and Ben? It very well could be. It all depends on whether or not
I don't know, man. Matt's kind of scary.
I'm coming for you guys. because I'm expecting myself to get knocked out the way my team's playing. I'm fucking coming for you, Steve.
Well, we talked about we don't know who's going to be. It's such a shootout right now because if Danny and Skot lose, there's a tie between like what is it?
A million teams. Basically, everything's in play.
If Danny and Skot lose, then it all depends on if Joe wins. If you all three lose, if Danny, Skot, and Joe all lose, then it's a big mess. Still, but I think Kelsey takes. Or no.
No, because they're all within 10 points of each other.
Scott, and Kelsey,
literally, Matt and Kelsey are one.
It's an absolute crapshoot.
It's Matt that takes from 11th to 6th. If they
Matt would take the sixth seed if Joe.
So I would get a bye. So we were talking about this earlier, Steve. Basically, the way that I do this is I swap the seeding, right? So it's there's a potential for me to go from 6th to a first round bye in the toilet bowl.
I'm
gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that up to the league to decide if that's how we should do it going forward. But that's the way that it works.
Yeah.
If you go all the way to 11th, though, it's 11th to 12th to get the buys.
Correct.
Right.
But
you wouldn't because you wouldn't get 11th. So here's the deal: you're not going to get a bye, even if you do lose out, because you're going to be in the upper bracket of the losses because of your wins already. They can't catch up to 7 wins because it would be.
Well, if I go to 6,
it would be Steve. It would be Steve that gets the bye. If Matt gets kicked into the playoffs and you get kicked into the consolidation bracket, Steve then receives the bye week for the consolidation bracket.
No, it's swapped. So if I'm 6th and Ben gets it swaps. This is what I was saying.
Direct swap.
No, but you're not going to direct swap.
If I'm 6th and
but
Ben,
you're not going to be 6th because
if you all lose. I'm saying hypothetically. If you all
lose, hypothetically, if you all lose, you'll be in 7th because you will be tied. With
all tied with the lowest points for, which is our next tie.
And Danny has it'd be Danny that
switches. But the point remains that's how it works. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to give feedback on the off season if we want to.
Well, I think it'd be easy for you to manually change it to the correct person that's in 11th place, which is Steve.
Right.
Steve should get the bye, period, because he's in 11th place.
I'm not in 11th. I'm in.
If Matt takes it, you will be in 11th place.
Oh yeah, if Matt wins.
Yeah.
Then yes.
Well, it all depends on how next week. This is the most critical week of the season. It depends on how things shake out.
This is the most confusing playoff bout I've ever seen in our fantasy careers.
Yeah, it's so wacky.
It's insane. Everybody's so close.
Yeah. So
even us in the top 3 are all 9-4 currently, and we're all I'm within 10 points of Jordan, and John's within 50 points of me. So I'm playing John this week. So if John beats me, he takes my 2nd seed and my bye.
Right.
Unless Jordan also loses, and I cover the spread on him, and then I take his. It's so fucking convoluted right now.
It is a big mess right now, and we will have a lot more.
There is no clear bye week at all for anybody.
No one
except for
Ben. Locked down. Except for Ben.
No one has 10 wins yet.
Well, so because Ben's could potentially take a 6th seed if Joe gets 5th. So if Joe ends up in 5th.
Fuck.
Because Ben is in the running.
Ben is actually
in the running to take 6 as well.
Yeah, it all depends on whether or not Joe wins, and then what happens with Scott.
The only team, and I'm sorry to say this, the only team that's not in contention for the 6th spot is you, Steve. You're the only one who's not in contention.
Points, right?
I have the lowest points for.
Yeah, you have 2,000 flat. So you're the only one that doesn't have a shot at it, which is
I am 100%
hilarious.
There is no way,
because you're the one that's been doing the dots for the last 3 weeks, with the wire, trying to fucking line this all up,
get it in.
And I'm sitting here thinking you're fucking crazy. This is gonna be a clearer picture in a couple weeks, and it's not any clearer.
Every single team but me has a way
into
the playoffs.
At this point, it's just I've got all these picks. It's this is the path.
See, exactly. But this is why I like the 6 seed rule. Is everyone has an opportunity at this point.
Yeah.
Like everyone's still in it, even though it doesn't look good. The fact that there's an opportunity makes the game way better. There is another system called Apex scoring, which is where you add in the median, and then everyone gets an extra win based on getting above or below the league median of scoring. So say like this week it's like 150 points. If you score less than 150 points, you get an L. If you score above 150 points, you get a W. I don't like that
Honestly,
An
personally.
additional one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
'Cause you've
I'm
got
not
the
a
really
huge
hate
fan of that. I prefer the 6 seed rule that I came up
there's
with.
too
but-
many bye weeks because there's bye weeks this week. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's a big part of it.
It gets really whack. The idea is to basically implement a solution to the problem that I solved with the 6 seed rule, but it applies to everybody equally. But like, that's not how football works. It's like, it's the same reason I don't really like 2 QB leagues, even though I understand like the positional scarcity at quarterback is pretty low. And it makes sense to play 2 quarterbacks. In the real NFL, you don't play 2 quarterbacks. It's just, that's why I don't like the Apex scoring, is because you play one person a week, and it's not like in the real NFL you get a consolation point for winning or scoring a certain number of points above the average. It's like, I don't know, it just seems wonky to me.
yeah.
Well, let's give a shout out to Ben since
Yeah, I was
he might
just saying,
actually-
anyways,
let's
good
get
job,
this
Ben.
done. Ben,
You beat
good
the shit
job.
out of fucking
Yeah.
Steve.
Jordan
You
Love
did it
had a
with Jordan
great
Love.
game. Monty had a pretty decent game. Najee Harris returned to the form that we expect from Najee Harris this year.
Nico Collins,
Christian
though.
Watson
Nico
blew
Collins.
up and then blew up.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he get injured?
Re-injured his hamstring
on a non-contact injury,
on a
so it's bad.
non-contact, so
So-
it's not good.
He's done.
Probably done
For
the
fantasy.
season. For fantasy, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost
Who
certainly.
is?
Nico Watson.
Christian Watson.
Oh, I think you said
Nico
Nico
Collins.
I was like,
Nico
what?
Collins took advantage of Tank Dell's early injury and blew
Yeah.
up. Yeah, so Nico Collins is likely the number 1 option for the Texans moving forward in terms
He's
of
always
Oh,
been the number one
I see
option,
what you
dude.
did, Ben. You fucking broke out the voodoo doll, sacrificed Christian Watson, and beat Steve.
And yeah, exactly.
And now you're in
now-
contention for the playoffs, huh?
Dude, there's so
Exactly,
much
yeah.
Packer on Packer action here.
Njoku
This is
didn't
crazy.
do anything. Dontavian Wicks is one of those players that is like a little bit of a surprise coming into this season, but he's playing really well. He looks dynamic with the ball in his hands. 6.8 points.
There's entirely
not
too many
bad.
Packers playing each other in this matchup right here.
Yeah, that's just how
Goddamn
it goes.
fucking Packers.
This is
It
like
was
a
literally
this
a
is a
Packers
microcosm.
shootout.
This is a
It was-
microcosm of your seasons here.
Both of us, yeah, absolutely.
I will say this though about Nico Collins, like as much as everybody loved Tank Dell, Nico Collins was always the number 1.
Yeah,
That's because he's a big-bodied wide receiver. He's an actual prototype wide receiver.
prototypical. Yeah, exactly.
And
He
he's
fits the
also,
NFL
like,
The
better.
knock
with the
against Tank
technical-
Dell is that he was like 165 pounds soaking wet. He's small.
Well, the other thing is that Nico Collins, like, no one. I mean, he was saddled with what, like Davis Mills and Taylor Heineke, or whoever was the
It
Texans
was
guy
Davis
before
Mills, yeah. Davis
yeah,
Mills.
Mills.
And like, yeah, not a lot of chances to shine, but also he was
Right.
always like pretty good. Just get this man
Yeah,
a quarterback, like the Allen
now that-
Robinson effect.
Now that
Yeah.
Stroud is in town, he's looking like an actual number 1.
Also, it's
As for
that
the
kind of
rest of
it's kind of that he's over the sophomore hump and he's
Yeah,
acclimated to the speed of the game at the pro level and looks great.
he looks really good.
So that, I mean, I think Ben's team, if he drafts well in the offseason, because I think he's got a couple. Didn't he make some trades? I don't remember, but
Let's
if
I mean,
he
he made
drafts
enough
well, his
trades
team
to
will be
be-
scary.
Yeah. Well, then I say nothing. I mean, like, if
Ben does
J.C.
not
Horn
have
stayed,
any
like,
additional
that's
draft
another
capital.
depth piece.
Yeah, his team is in a great position to get healthy for next year, and he doesn't have any additional draft capital, but he still has all of his picks and will likely be picking pretty high. So
Yep.
I agree that he's got a really good.
He's got a really good core. I mean, he's got
bright
Saquon,
future.
Zay Flowers, Devontae Adams is
But
still
Zay
a good
Flowers
player.
just got arrested, didn't he?
Did he?
No,
Wasn't he the one that got in trouble for domestic violence?
that was Zay Jones.
Zay Jones.
Zay
that's
Jones. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
less surprising.
All right. Well, enough of the cheese bowl. Good job, Ben.
Good
you
job,
earned my
Ben.
respect. Fuck Steve.
Fuck you, Trevor. Good job, Ben. Take the W. You got your third win on the season. I believe all of your wins have been at Packers fans' expenses. Maybe. Oh no, he beat Targus. So.
Oh well, he's still the prime Packer fan now.
Yeah.
He's asserted his dominance over you, Matt.
Packer Prime, He gets to hold the Packer icon. You have to change. Oh, you did. High Steel Mecha Kaiju. Okay.
Yes, I rebranded. I did.
All right.
I
couldn't have been any more nerdy. Good job.
Official Mecha. Yep, exactly. Couldn't be more nerdy. Referencing Shelton.
I'm surprised you haven't gone with like a fungal name of some kind.
Since he was for a while.
I know, but like, why aren't you just like that? Was like the name.
Steve Feet Fungus.
The Latin name was Cheesehead Green Bay.
Yeah, it was pretty highbrow, Steve.
So it was a little stupid.
Yeah, it was cringe.
Maybe
is there a fungus that grows on cheese? Like a specific fungus?
Just
blue cheese.
That's what blue cheese is.
I know, but like
cheese generally.
I know, but like, is there a fungus that grows on it that's deadly or something?
Oh yeah,
that's what you need to be going for, Steve.
Oh, that's what you need to be going for your rebrand.
All right. Yeah, that's a good idea. We could get some aspergillus or something on there. Anyway,
yeah.
A rebrand for a later date.
All right, move on to the Josh and Kelsey. Kelsey's surprised the fuck out of me this week, and all of a sudden,
oh my God, Kelsey's team came out of nowhere and basically ruined Josh's day. I'm sure
his hopes and dreams.
Dude, her team went the fuck off. Like
James Conner, DeAndre Hopkins had a vintage game. Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, and then Antoine Winfield. Like, what the
had,
fuck?
The most complete game you could possibly have as like a DB. It's like a sack, an int, multiple pass defenses that weren't the int. Like,
yeah, that's really solid.
I have a feeling Antoine Winfield is the reason why Brian Burns got ejected.
Like, the only L that Kelsey took this week was losing Jeffrey Simmons, and he's out because of his knee.
Oh well, Trevor Lawrence has a high ankle sprain.
He's fine.
I mean,
high ankle means he's not fantasy relevant anymore. Like,
that's 2 to 4 weeks. At all. He's a quarterback.
He might be back in 3 weeks.
He'll be back in playoff runs if she's in the playoffs.
The problem is that he's at least missing next week and
why is he
maybe the week after? Because it's a high ankle.
So what?
Look. He did not put any weight on that thing coming off. Like he
couldn't walk
he could not walk.
Yeah.
He was gingerly limping his way down the tunnel when he got injured. He's not
Kelsey has McCorkle Jones as her backup. Like it's tough.
Well, that is not what you want when you That's not what you want.
Yeah, I mean, well,
didn't they play Bailey Zapp over the weekend?
Yeah.
They didn't even
Bailey Zappe's starting.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna drop Tim Boyle, but he just got released, so he's not a backup anymore either. So
I mean, Brett Rippon.
Brett Rippon ass.
Option.
Brett Rippon is on the Ass is on the Seahawks.
The No, he got picked up by the Jets.
To the Jets.
The Seahawks released him?
Okay. He was on the practice
squad. He was signed off the practice squad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought they elevated him. I guess not.
Oh, no.
Because of the whole the situation with Gino and everything. But that's hilarious.
Yeah. No,
that is so funny. Right?
But
that
hey,
is so
Kelsey,
funny.
I got Matthew Stafford, and you got a couple of DBs.
We're past the trade deadline, though.
Past the trade deadline.
This is what I was saying. Is like maybe
that's
we
why
should.
I had to start Tim fucking Boyle.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is that maybe we should increase it.
Steve.
Move the trade deadline up to right before playoffs or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out in the off season.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, we'll figure it out because I also would have liked to make a trade because of my situation with my fucking.
I mean, I don't even think. Yeah. Is there even a QB? There's Trubisky, I guess.
Yeah, they're like.
That's
what I'm saying. The waiver wire is fucking thin at QB right now, and it's because most teams have 2 or 3.
I'm holding on to Josh Dobbs, Matt Stafford, and Brock Purdy right now. So.
I mean, part of that has to do with the real situation in the NFL. Like, we've lost a
died.
couple more quarterbacks.
They all fucking died, and they're all just dying. Like, what is happening?
This year has been awful.
It's been really
all
crappy.
around.
It's not great.
So I don't know if you guys saw this. This was so funny.
Makes for some crazy matchups, though.
Sean McVay.
It was some debate, but I think
Williams.
out of respect for their field goal block operation, we said, let's make sure we have great ball security, but if we can punch it in, Kyron's on my fantasy team. It's a joke. It's a joke. I don't really mean that. All right, kidding.
Basically, he says that Kyron's on his fantasy team, and that's why they used him at the very end of the game in a situation where they were already up a lot. And was basically like, of course I'm going to use Kyron Williams. He's on my fantasy team. So there you go, Josh. Enjoy the player that's basically Alvin Kamara. Like, he's used like that. It's 2018 Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? DeRon Bland actually was getting cooked.
Well, I mean, they don't really have any other running back. They have Royce Freeman. Like, what?
Right.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
It's not looking very good in their backfield, other than him. So,
I mean, I hope
got Darrell Henderson
contract, and he's not Todd Gurley.
No, they kicked Darrell Henderson to free agent. So, Darrell Henderson isn't even.
If he makes it to the contract,
he rolls through waivers. No one picks him up. They just put him right back on practice squad. That's what they've done.
I am surprised that Minnesota hasn't snagged him. They need a running back. So
they already got Cam from them.
Yeah,
and they have
so
Ty Chandler.
grab the other.
And he got injured. Well, they got Ty Chandler too. So
yeah, they also have Myles Gaskin and like a bunch of other players. But like, Darrell Henderson is proven that he has come off the practice squad and made bank. Like,
yeah, he can come off. He can come off the couch and play.
You know, put down the sticks and fucking start playing Madden.
DeRon Bland got an interception, but he was getting fucking fried by the Seahawks wide receivers.
He was getting roasted,
which was really surprising. I was expecting him to get a pick six, to be quite honest.
He got a pick.
He did get a pick, but like other than that, he was getting absolutely fried by DK.
When you have someone like DK running you down.
DK was shitting on him. JSN also fucking cooked this dude too.
That was such, dude. That's exactly what I wanted to see out of JSN. Is I want more of that. Like get him the ball, let him beat a dude, get him in, get him to do something.
We're only getting him reps because he's replacing Tyler Lockett, but we don't want to ruin him before Tyler Lockett's gone. So it's this weird like limbo.
I mean, this is what
place
we did
where he's at, where we don't want to fucking destroy his legs before he's even a number 2 guy.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, but this is what we do with this is more of a Seahawks drafting thing, but it's like when there's a position that there are 2 clear people in and they draft somebody in the first round, they always kind of slow play the first year. Like Jordan Brooks, his first year was the last year of KJ Wright, and then they got rid of KJ.
I want to hear from Josh on what devil he paid to know that Pat Mahomes wasn't going to score 40 points this week against Green Bay. Because there's been nothing leading up into this week to sit Pat Mahomes for CJ Stroud. And I mean, obviously they both scored the same amount of points, but how the fuck did you know that Pat Mahomes was not going to score 40 points against one of the worst teams in the league?
I mean, that is a great fucking question. And
I would have been
Kansas City offense. Look at Patrick Mahomes' output compared to CJ Stroud for fantasy.
Stroud has been way better.
Pat Mahomes is serviceable, sure.
But I mean, it's not like the.
This is okay. This is okay.
He put up 40 against
CJ Stroud is just like fucking every other Normie Norman quarterback, 20 points every week, 27, 29, 28.
He put up a 50 burger in week 9 and nearly 40 points last week.
But it's not going to be a 40-point game every week. Whereas Pat Mahomes has proven that he can do 30, 40-point games every week.
Well, it's also an eye test thing. Just watching the Chiefs game, their offense is brutal because all their wide receivers just drop the ball every fucking drop back. Pat Mahomes is a transcendent Hall of Fame quarterback, but his weapons are trash. and CJ Stroud's weapons are good.
I mean, it's
so
just
I think
Kelsey
it makes sense.
And that's it.
I wish I was in his situation. I wish I had 2 fucking franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, like it's.
No
I'm
kidding.
sure it's also hard to pick. Like, do I play CJ Stroud and for the upside, who's on this crazy historic tear, or do I play the guy, the proven Hall of Fame quarterback?
And it's not like,
you know,
and, I mean, it's a hard choice just because Denver's defense has been good. And I also don't think
they've also had rough weeks too. Like Denver's defense has been absolutely exposed this season. Like, do we not remember they almost got a historic amount of points scored on them earlier this season?
Yeah, I don't really fine, sure, but it's like the secondary.
But that also
like
has to do with how bad their offense was and how much time the defense had to spend on the field.
Yeah, it's the like, are you gonna bet on like you're kind of like betting on the Pat Surtain, Jeff Simmons, versus like where they play versus like Jair Alexander and I forget the other dude that Steve. Who's your other like QB? Is he cornerback?
Eric Stokes.
Quay?
No,
talking about Quay?
Don't you have another
Douglas?
like pretty good DB?
That got traded. Rasul Douglas.
I don't know. I guess you don't have another one.
I mean, yeah, Rasul Douglas got traded. He's pretty good. He was in a little bit of an interception machine last year. Keyshawn Nixon is decent, but he's more of a kick returner than a cornerback, even though he plays corner pretty well. I think you're thinking of Stokes. Eric Stokes.
Anyway, I think your point is Denver's secondary isn't a joke at this point.
Yeah.
Which is true. This game was badass. Like the CJ Stroud versus Russell Wilson was an awesome watch.
That was fun. That was a fun game. Glad I watched that one.
Who? So we talked about it earlier, but Quinnen Williams got a safety on a Bijan Robinson TFL. Again, Arthur Smith disaster class, obvious running situation. Like they were basically lining up in their end zone because they got pinned at the 1. And
Scott, about this?
What
match is Bijan on? Bijan's
who has Quinnen Williams?
Oh, I was talking about Joe's player. My bad. Dude, rewind. Okay. I'll save that conversation for your matchup.
That's coming up next.
Yeah,
we can transition to that.
You're talking about like Bijan.
I got lost.
What else do we gotta do?
We can transition to that. I mean,
wait, what the fuck? Trey McBride?
Yeah. So there's a couple more players I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, Trey McBride. I guess he's the new Travis Kelsey, guys. Like straight up. Like, Jesus Christ, this dude is just fucking killing it.
Where's Red?
Yeah.
Dropped Darrell Henderson for Trey McBride after Steve lost his fucking mind. In hindsight, that was actually the absolute correct decision to make.
That was the move to make. Yes, correct.
So fuck Steve, obviously.
I mean, I will say he picked him up after the week after he hurdled a Seahawk. So if you saw that game, I would like put in a waiver bid too, because that's always impressive.
Okay. Yeah.
Christian Kirk had a groin injury, and I actually learned what this was. His testicle got twisted up.
Oh, you got testicular torsion?
You got testicular torsion?
That's fucking shitty.
If you guys have never seen the Venture Brothers episode about testicular torsion,
I've had it. I've had it.
Yeah,
it's not
I know what you're
good.
talking about.
No, fuck that.
We watched it in college.
That.
Yeah, yes, we did. Yeah,
hanging out with Tony Blaggs.
Blagna.
Ramondre Stevenson's out for the year for fantasy.
Yeah,
I mean, basically, because the Patriots aren't doing shit. He had a really gnarly ankle injury, so he's done.
He's got a high ankle,
He's got the high ankle that's going to take 3 to 4 weeks, and so he will not be involved.
Yeah, he looked like he was in a lot of pain and needed help getting off the field.
Also, like the
extremely similar to Pila.
Tui
Yeah, he's a good pickup. I know fun of him earlier in the year, but now that Joey Glass is done and no longer looks the same, this guy's got prime opportunity and has been putting it and looks good.
Putting it to use, yeah.
He looks good.
Which means by the time this gets posted, he'll drop him. This is what happened last time we shouted out one of these players. It was like, oh, this guy's really good, and then they dropped him.
Yeah.
It was DJ Wonham. Yeah, that was DJ Wonham. We were like, dude, this is a good pickup, Jordan, and then he dropped him. before I posted the episode. All right, dude, whatever.
You do you, my guy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
I think that's it for Josh. But on Kelsey's side,
yeah, we did Kelsey already.
James Conner had a fucking game.
We did Kelsey already. You guys forgot. We did Kelsey.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we said anything
we
about.
Didn't talk about James Conner.
Trevor Lawrence had a
We talked about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, we did all of Kelsey. We did Josh. Let's go on.
All right, next. We're done. All right, next.
We're lost in the sauce. Is it Joe and Danny here? Next up,
we have Joe and Danny. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, now you can talk about Quinnen Williams.
We've already
now you can talk about Quinnen Williams. You got so far ahead of yourself.
We've already covered the Jake Browning. We're all really proud of him. Good job, Danny.
Yeah, good job, Washington boy.
Yeah, I told you, change your name to Lil Faith, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I mean that's basically what I had to say. Quinnen Williams got a safety. That's the second safety that a fantasy team has actually been credited with this season. The first one was Casey, I believe. It was a random Patriots player. I don't remember who it was, but
maybe I think that was it.
He got a safety. Yeah, on the Bijan TFL. Yeah, Jake Ferguson, we talked about him earlier, but Jake Ferguson absolutely cooked Jamal Adams and made him
touchdown.
Absolutely cooked him.
Brian Branch got a great tip drill interception. Shout out to my guy.
It was a sweet one.
Let's see here. Garbage time Deontay Johnson touchdown. I'm always here for that. AJ Brown had a good game, one touchdown away from a great game. So at least he's back. Jared Goff, you need to throw the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs beyond the line of scrimmage, please.
Okay,
please.
I want to talk about this a little bit because I have seen this year a record number of passes behind the line of scrimmage. It feels like of people trying to set up screens.
Yeah, it's a side effect of zone defense.
And it just
too high,
blown.
Too high safety zone defense. Like instead of running into teeth of the defense, you do pre-snap motion and then do a run pass option or jet sweep or a draw.
Or an end around something.
Pass behind the line of scrimmage and get them in space before they make contact with DB. Like
I just fucking hate passes behind the line of scrimmage.
I mean, blame the defensive meta. This is what it is. With the changes to the rules to limit defensive players from being able to just hit people, this is what defensive coordinators do now. They just say, okay, fine, you're not gonna get the big shot,
no deep shot
plays. We'll let you have the shit up front, and that's it. And at the corners, like outside the numbers, go for it.
That's why we have so many field goal games, because once those defensive players are now in red zone defense, they're playing like a normal game of football, and it's then they go 3 and out, and they have to kick a field goal.
Yeah, that's when you actually see man coverage is when they're in a red zone, and it's like, all right, I guess that's what the game is now. Thanks, Goodall.
Yeah,
like we're protecting the quarterbacks, but they're getting hurt at a historic rate, and all the offensive schemes are based around basically really conservative dink and dunk football.
And it's not the tush push's fault. So
and now we're talking about getting rid of the tush push. Did you see Goodall is on mission to get rid of it? Yeah, it's like
he's retired.
It's not going to fix the quarterbacks getting hurt. It's a separate
All
issue.
that's going to do is create more punts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Facts.
Awful.
Goodell loves kicking.
I mean, they're just instead of they're still going to do the quarterback sneak. It's just they're not going to have two running backs shoving them into the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do want to say that Calvin Ridley was literally a yard away from a touchdown, which good stop for them.
Again,
and then a right tackle took away just a 40-yard bomb, which was just not.
Yeah, that holding sucked. That holding call sucked for. I was 8 up for you, Joe, when that happened.
I was so hyped about that, and it was no. Okay.
Yeah, name refs and ticky-tack holding calls. Name a more iconic duo.
For sure. Isaiah Pacheco did get me 20 plus points, but also got his ass ejected. Yeah, don't throw punches.
He punched a dude. I
Yeah.
forgot who he punched.
He punched some guy because
it was
he like
Keyshawn Nixon. It was a cornerback.
Oh yeah, because what happened like it was like very brief.
Yeah.
It like you see it on the replay. He like knocks him to the ground, and then like Pacheco's trying to get back up, and he pushes him back down, and then Pacheco throws a punch.
Yeah,
because Pacheco's a hothead.
I don't see how that would get you ejected. It's kind of whack.
They
what is
certainly
this?
Did. Why do you get?
Oh, this is yeah. No, this is
Oh, D-Hen, yeah.
This was Danny. This was Danny jinxing his own players. So.
I don't know if Danny saw this or not. I think he was, because he was obviously tilted in chat while watching this. He was like, "Great, now I don't have another running back. Sick."
Yeah.
But we've seen Derrick Henry take a lot of hard hits. This is the hit that finally gives him a concussion. This is what you need to do to Derrick Henry to take him out of a football game. That's fucking brutal.
Oh, that is crazy. Zaire Franklin just.
That is fucking crazy.
Oh,
that's a clean hit too. I want to remind you guys.
That's not even on purpose. That's just he just accidental contact.
Happens to hit him right when both of his feet are up.
It's a bang bang play. That's what you call that.
Yeah,
and then
that's
down.
Yeah.
Like that is oof.
But
he's not in concussion protocol.
Oh, he's not.
He's not.
Okay, wow, good. I mean, built different.
So you'll have him this week, Danny. But
oh, it says he's reportedly not in the concussion protocol. Yeah. But
Derrick Henry built different.
Yeah.
Yes. He has extra cranium.
I think
with cushioning on the inside.
Other reporting that like he was in the concussion protocol.
Well, that's why he was taken out of the game briefly, and after that play, he didn't play.
I thought I saw something today that said that he had re-entered.
No, it was reported that he was, and then Vrabel said he wasn't.
Yeah, concussions are also strange. It's very possible that he does enter the concussion protocol. It's possible that he didn't have symptoms, which cleared him, but he may end up with symptoms, because that's how brain injuries work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
TBD, he's questionable for a reason.
Nah, he football player.
I'm sure he's fine.
He doesn't have any concussion protocol until after the season's over.
Also, it snowed in Vermont this weekend, so that shit from the Fantasy Footballers podcast holds true this week.
Dude, I still can't believe that's still fucking working.
That stat
is the wildest shit.
That stat is on fire, by the way.
Yeah, dude, that's like the waxing gibbous shit. Dude, rip to Danny for playing Noah Brown and, surprisingly, Myles Garrett.
The comic that he made this week was very topical, because like
that was very good. Yeah.
I actually didn't. I thought I knew that Myles Garrett had a bad game, but I didn't realize he did literally nothing.
And when a shoulder injury that he's just like kind of like playing through for no good reason.
Because he's a beast, and he's
sure. I mean,
he's a depoy candidate. He's gonna play.
Yeah.
Like. He's not making business decisions like Quandre Diggs out there. He's fucking trying to get the depoy. So
I bet he's got a kicker clause or something for the depoy.
Hopefully, that's. I mean, if you're gonna get a goose egg, I want it to look like that.
Yeah.
I want it to be because Myles Garrett's in my lineup.
I mean, you kind of have to just live with it with Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
That, you know what, you take some else.
I want to remind
one that you take.
I also want to point out this is in the range of possibilities for any IDP player because of the way that the position works. It's like the Jair Alexander thing. It's like because they're good at football, they don't get action. That's the point. It's good that he's eliminating a threat, you know. So
I mean, this is also
of upside with a ton of downside.
Right.
And I think I've noticed, at least for myself, it seems to be that like the highest variance ones are like the D line. Like when D line players go off, they go off. But if they don't, like edge rushers, like if you get 2 tackles out of them, like that might be it for the game. Like Boye,
because they're absorbing blocks. That's their job. That's that's the thing with Chris Jones. That's why Trevor's like he's got Chris Jones. Chris Jones is great. he's going to get eaten up by linemen. That's going to be the play in every game. But the likelihood that he beats them is really high. So the opportunity for him to get a sack is there on every play. It's kind of like playing a player like ETN or Kenneth Walker, where it's like every play, it's like it looks like it's going to be like negative yardage, bad situation, but it's like they also could just house it. It's a home run play. Like you want players like that on your team though, because like the alternative is like you play like a floor guy, defensive lineman, who their ceiling is like a QB hit, and you get 3 points. That sucks. I mean, if that's their only opportunity, you don't want them in your fantasy lineup.
It's like if you've got a 3-4 with a true nose tackle that can kind of split the gap a little bit and play a little bit more of their run defense up front, then that's going to be a little bit better of a play in terms of DL, in terms of a floor. Then
this is why players like Danielle Hunter and Michael Parsons and Will Anderson and players and Jalen Carter is because they line up like in different positions. And like Max Crosby is like the most valuable defensive end in fantasy because he lines up in different spots and gets to the quarterback. That's his job.
The only guy that breaks that mold is Dexter Lawrence, because he's like the only nose tackle that only plays nose tackle that plays all 3 downs. All other nose tackles do not play the 3rd down.
Yep. Yeah. They rotate.
Yeah. Yep. The other one is Myles Garrett, obviously. Myles Garrett is a multifunctional lineman who can do anything. He could play any defensive position. Except for maybe nose tackle because he doesn't have the physique for it.
Right? They don't move Aaron Donald around too much, right?
No.
He's a 3-tech.
No, he's a 3-tech. He's just at the line and he rushes the passer.
Yeah, he just rushes the passer.
But the thing is, it's the same thing with Chris Jones. Like, he just gets gobbled up by coverage.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets doubled up.
There's deliberate scheming against that, which, you win some, you lose some.
But the difference is, like, between Aaron Donald and a player like Chris Jones is, like, Chris Jones is far more athletic at this age.
At this stage in the game, yeah.
It's like the Bobby Wagner effect. Like, you get old eventually,
You get old. Father Time will catch up with you.
Yeah, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah. Also, TJ Watt is another good example of a defensive lineman who lines up in multiple positions and just shits on people.
DL is one of those positions with extreme scarcity of the top tier positions.
It's like having it's like a tight end. It's there's not a lot of super good options, but if you do have one, it's a game changer. It's like Travis Kelsey. Like Myles Garrett is like the Travis Kelsey of line, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's why Trevor's got TJ Watt as his whole defense.
That's easy. I mean that's it. Like that dude shows up.
Yep.
But I think tight end as a positional analogy is pretty good.
Yep. And linebacker is more like wide receiver or quarterback depending on format.
Yeah, it depends on whether you're doing splash or tackle.
Yeah.
Because in some ways linebackers are a lot like running backs. That
they're more like running backs with the high upside, low downside,
relatively high floor for certain ones, depending on how you're scoring tackles.
With tackle heavy scoring though, defensive backs are just trash.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolute trash.
They're trash until they're not.
Yeah, they're trash.
Well, with tackle based scoring, you typically don't value PBUs, like they're a point. Whereas in our scoring, it's 6. That's a huge difference. That's
like a touchdown.
1 to 2 points.
Which is why they are what they are, is because we wanted defensive backs
for sure
to be viable.
I think your Targus' proposed change in the offseason is swapping the point bonuses for PBU and interception.
There's a couple other things I wanted to do with that, but there's a rebalance I have
as one of them in particular. But
we'll probably have a long segment in a podcast episode about it.
Yeah, and it kind of a postseason roundup, I imagine, after the playoffs are finished, and we'll discuss a lot of the things that we've tagged over the year to discuss in the off season and put it out there.
Yeah, I've got a list, so we'll get to that. But let's look at the last matchup here. We got John and Matt.
Mm-hmm.
This was an important one. This is an important one for John. It was close. It was really important for John because he's fighting Trevor and Jordan right now for that bye week. It is a outright battle, and like
Matt decides he's only gonna play against me this year.
Is he the only? Is 2 of his wins against you?
Yeah, with over 200 points, and then randomly,
That's
like
wild.
he just doesn't want to play every other week. It's
He's like, yeah, I'm done. I just played Trevor. I'm good.
I just show up when Trevor's there.
He's like, all right,
rock paper scissors is working.
Go, Michael Carter. go get John. John's super team.
Michael Carter, yeah, like.
Yeah, he was on my roster. I had to cut him. He's in a bad situation though.
Taylor's Bigsby's not getting any. Yeah. Okay.
It's because of this. Jonathan Taylor being out is a big problem for him.
Yeah, for Matt.
Also, I'm really sorry about the Huge. That situation is like
QJ. Oh boy.
Dude,
This is the worst. This is the worst drop I've ever seen.
Dude, could you just help me out, man?
Since 3rd and 12. Tough down
Justin
in distance
Herbert
here.
had
Herbert throwing to the run, and it is dropped.
Yeah, he's a DB.
Johnston
Yeah, dude, that's a DB. Exactly.
Are we gonna see the very first wide receiver transition to DB in the NFL?
In the NFL, yeah, get QJ on the D.
That is.
Get him in the quarterback room.
My one thing about I was all in on JSN if he was there when we were at 20, which thank fucking God he was. But this was the one guy I didn't want to take just for the simple fact is we lived through DK dropping balls. Couldn't do it again with this guy.
I mean, there's. I saw a graphic. It was brutal. The wide receivers who were drafted over him. Just imagine, if we redraft, if we do the NFL draft again today, knowing what we know now, QJ is probably a 6th round project, and
that's why hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, and Puka Nacua is going 20th overall. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
The NFL is crazy.
I'll take him into 5th round again because he has a funny name.
I will say this. Puka is I did want to draft him, and the only reason I didn't is because Trevor was 1 pick before me, and Puka Nacua had a funny name.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I didn't draft him. Is because he had a funny name.
That is
you had 4 other rounds to grab him.
It's true, but true. That is a potential huge dynasty move for Trevor because his team has a bunch of aging vets on it. He's Puka Nacua is needed for him. Because he's going to be in a rebuild year. Event
later.
Who knows how long Travis Kelsey is going to be around, and his running backs are getting older. So
Yeah, Kamara's not going to defy age forever.
Oh,
you don't know that.
I don't know if you guys did y'all watch the Green Bay game, the Green Bay Kansas City game
on Red Zone?
Okay, well, I watched the full broadcast, and there were so many great cuts to Travis Kelsey sitting on the bleachers in Lambeau, just his feet crossed, his knees out, looking sad. Just looking real sad that he wasn't in the game for whatever reason. Just
and he still led the Chiefs in receiving yards.
Yeah, he's tired from
half the
doing all the work on that team because all the other receivers, aside from Rashee Rice, who's waking up here, John, just do nothing.
The only time he actually gets plays off, he has to block because Pacheco's running. That's it.
Yeah. He's not Kittle. He doesn't like to block.
No,
he doesn't do. He's not a tight end. He is a wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's what he is. 87. And everyone else wears 87 now because of him. That's how it is. Every time I see 87, I know it's tight end. Every time. Dak Prescott destroyed the Seahawks. We talked about it earlier, but that was the greatest game of ref ball of all time.
Yeah,
with 257 penalty yards total, and no punts for the 5th time in history.
130 penalty yards per team.
Yeah, No punts. Crazy. No punts for the 5th time in history.
It was not a fun game to watch.
No,
it was a mess.
It was fun. It was fun as like just a fantasy owner of someone who doesn't give a fuck about the Cowboys or the Seahawks, but like as an actual player who wants to.
This dude's from Iowa.
No, this dude is you, Steve.
Yeah, that is Steve. This dude's from Iowa.
Look how fucking mad this guy is. No punts.
No punts?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Fuck, man.
This guy's upset. Yeah, no punts. Mike Evans
CD Lamb in the same
and
like,
CD Lamb. Yeah.
What the fuck off?
That was the kind of the head-to-head I was interested in, was like, who's going to score more, Mike Evans or CD Lamb? And that was a good thing to watch too, because like they were basically a point apart. Look at that.
Here, I'm throwing.
Mike Evans got his 1,000 yards.
Speaking of 87s, Sam Laporta with 27 points.
The University of Iowa's football team is so bad on offense that they are
winning is punting.
Punting is winning.
Punting is winning.
Because their defense scored more points than their offense last year.
Hey, that sounds like the Patriots.
Uh-huh.
The 2020 Patriots, the one that scored.
Yeah.
I remember Kelsey had them that season, and it was like having a running back 1 in your defense spot in redraft. Yeah. It was fucking insane.
Crazy. But yeah,
Sam Laporta, a proud member of Tight End University. Like,
yeah, I mean, best aside from Trey McBride, best rookie tight end ever. I mean, he actually is having like the best rookie tight end season.
Yeah, he's like on pace to break Mike Ditka's like receiving record.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, just the touchdowns by itself is.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good. Good at football.
He's good.
Garrett Wilson's doing his best, man.
He's trying.
He's doing his best out there. The laser show just couldn't get it done.
The laser show.
He flashed a couple times in this game. Like, we know who Garrett Wilson is. Like, imagine Garrett Wilson on the Chiefs.
Look, I just want to put this out here, but laser shows are all smoke and mirrors anyway, and that's all Tim Boyle is. Smoke. It's no substance there. So yeah.
God, could you imagine for Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, you're going from C.J. Stroud to like Derek Carr and like Zach Wilson, like James just the drop off in talent.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is why we saw Elijah Moore demand a trade. Obviously, Chris Olave's been really frustrated.
Dude, Mike Thomas like deleted his Twitter account after live tweeting the entire game about how much Derek Carr sucked.
Did he really? I missed that.
Yeah, he was live tweeting the entire game and being like, oh, somebody's open. Like I saw one where it was like A.T. Perry's open, and like somebody else like threw it to somebody else, and it was like just that dude was just raging.
That is insane. So he's like sitting at home on his couch just roasting Derek Carr.
Yeah. And then he deleted his like
Twitter That is account. Awesome. Like, because Derek Carr deserves
Mike,
it.
The handle is available or was.
Can't guard Mike.
Yeah, that was available.
Just put Jameis Winston in, god damn it.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to see air punts.
Jameis is so much more fun to watch.
I want to see air punts, damn it.
Jameis, let's not forget.
Arm punts,
Jameis Winston was the first overall pick.
Yo, for real.
So get him out there. If Baker can be out there for Jameis Winston's old team.
He had the fucking corrective eye surgery, and he hasn't had an opportunity since.
Yeah, he got laser eye surgery, and now he can throw lasers.
Honestly, it's a good point. Like,
he literally, ironically, he did look better. After the eye surgery.
He looked so much better after he had the corrective eye surgery.
Understandably, he looked better.
He can finally fucking see. Like,
yeah, he probably thought he paid for those crab legs. He just couldn't see. That was the issue, clearly.
Dude, I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous that Derek Carr continues to play. Like,
he shouldn't be on a team.
He shouldn't.
Like, it's such a mismanagement of coaching, like that he's still playing.
It's so bad, and yeah.
The thing is like it's not even like we don't know if Jameis can be the guy, because like everyone knows what Jameis is.
Everybody knows what Jameis was.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah, you know what you're getting. You're gonna get 3 ints, 4 touchdowns,
be better than
and
that.
500 yards passing. That's fucking awesome. You're probably gonna lose the game.
Better than Derek Carr.
You're gonna lose the game 34.
And if this is a league about so-called entertainment, give us entertainment.
Yeah.
Quit giving us this bullshit fucking Taysom Hill, Derek Carr show that's garbage.
It is garbage. The Saints are a hard watch.
As much as you enjoy Kamara checkdowns for your fantasy stuff, it's not fun for everybody else.
No, I get it.
No, it actually does suck to
understand.
watch. Like having owned players in fantasy like that, where it's like Austin Eckler last year. He's just like check down, check down, check down, check down. That's not fun football. It's great for my fantasy team. I'm like, cool. I want to see my guys catch a 50-yard bomb touchdown. That's exciting. Yeah. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, was that my guy? Hell yeah, let's go. You know, that's fun. But like,
that's not Derek Carr ball.
That's not Derek Carr ball. We know that. That Derek Carr hasn't been that since 2016. Like after that injury to his leg, when he broke his leg, he's never been the same. Never been the same guy.
Yep, I was hoping. I like the guy. Like, I think he had all of the chance to be good. Like, there were a few years early in his Raiders career where like those teams pushed the playoffs, and he
got MVP votes.
Team.
Like,
he got MVP
a couple
votes
years
at one point. Like, he used to be good, and I was hopeful that he would have a little bit of a resurgence because you like to root for guys, but woof, it's been bad.
Yeah. Zach Moss did nothing with his opportunity after Taylor went out.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game either.
That's rough.
But Cortland Sutton still still playing that safety valve for Russ. So
yeah,
that's
Zach didn't really capitalize, but this is his first week back after being like essentially non-existent for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, and so. Next week he'll probably do better, but it's one of those like transition weeks where it's hard to
getting back into the swing of things.
Just get back into the groove like immediately after you've been just
I'm playing him next week I would play him next week for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
He doesn't really have another option. I mean, does he play? He could pull Sharp.
Fucking Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
that's
I guess
that doesn't seem like the right call.
But I would play Zach Moss over Charbonnet because I don't know. Just watching Charbonnet, he just looks like a running back that just his job is to run into the line and fall down. Like he needs a massive hole.
He's the new Sean Alexander.
The Seahawks,
except for Sean Alexander had Walter Jones blocking. We do not have Walter Jones blocking.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Abraham Lucas and Charles.
What do you mean it didn't matter? All he did was run into the back of Walter Jones and fall over.
I mean that counts.
It didn't matter. Sean Alexander sucked dick after his first year. He was great. And he got a bag.
That's true.
And then he was like, Mr. Shuffle, Shuffle, fall down. Fuck Sean Alexander.
Like that knee injury, I forget when that was. It was right after that 26.
It wasn't even, it was his foot. It was his foot. It was his toe. It was his fucking toe.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Fucking
Either
pussy.
Way, it didn't last.
Suck my dick. I hate Sean Alexander, dude.
So mad about Sean Alexander.
I fucking hate Sean Alexander. I
did not realize that was going to be the nerve that we struck.
Yeah,
he's so bad. He literally ruined our team for fucking 5 years because he took all of the money from our team and then did nothing with it.
Yeah, that is true. That 5-year period. I mean, other than the fact that Matt Hasselbeck was in it. Yeah.
Matt Hasselbeck was like
he was Kirk Cousins before Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he was like a Mr. Consistent guy. I liked Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah. Matt Hasselbeck was a perfectly reasonable
and he didn't even catch a bag. He was reasonable about his contracts. He fucking didn't ever ask for too much. He played forever. He never got hurt.
Shafted got shafted in the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah,
we did get shafted.
Fine.
Yeah,
at least he went to one. Unlike
fuck all that noise.
That was the worst. That was the worst Super Bowl in history, and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
It was so clearly a crooked game.
Dude, Rapey Burger fucking said that he didn't score. Like, he admitted he didn't score. Like,
yeah. He didn't. We can all see it on film. He goes like this, and then he goes like this. on the fucking ground. He like literally like reaches over the goal line, and it's like he's down. You can't do that.
Down.
It's like we all saw it.
Down.
Like fucking asshole. Is there anything?
Right, let's
anything else we missed?
All right,
I think we're good. I don't have anything
That's
else.
Now it's just matchups for this week.
Yeah, matchup.
Yeah,
So we've already kind of covered
We've
covered the
blasted
madness
through
that's
matchup
happening
thing.
this week. So
no, like the seeding madness continues. Casey, make this easy for us all and beat me.
me and John are
Take the
fighting for a
5,
bye
Casey.
week.
I'm right here. I'm offering it up. It's a primed butthole to fuck right now. Like the number 5 seed is yours if you score more than me. Take it.
That's brutal.
Steve really wants better draft position.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
I hope that Kelsey can figure out her quarterback situation, because like that's gonna be some rough chuckles.
Blarg and Danny are gonna have to overcome the potential
I have to beat Matt.
loss. Yeah, you have to beat Matt.
And
You have to beat
Josh
Matt,
is the final boss for Danny.
Danny has to beat Josh. Yep, exactly. Casey's in. Casey's gonna just roll on over me. No problem.
How about you try
yeah.
this week? You gotta try
I will.
still. You
I'm
gotta try
gonna
still.
try.
Oh,
I
Steve's
always
gonna
try.
Steve doesn't throw.
I will never throw.
He has old Dell in right now, and he's changed his lineup. So I don't know about that.
I mean, old Dell might not be the greatest play, but I'm pretty sure that might be his only play.
It might be my best play. It's him or Tutu.
I'd go with old
the
Dell.
Touchdown stealer.
Yeah, I'd go with old Dell.
Actually, with Puka Nacua getting hurt, I don't know. Tutu actually is a...
Yeah, he has a
that's
shot.
a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to think about that more. But yeah.
Yeah, you just have I'm looking at your bench right now. It's like all defense.
I got a lot of defenders,
and a bunch of running backs that aren't
materializing.
Yeah. Steve traded away some pieces though, so some of his offense is.
Steve has been angling to get better draft position for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been planning,
and I have successfully done that. I think with my bevy of seconds, I have over a quarter of the second round of the next draft.
Seconds
it's a good position to be in.
So
they are.
Yeah, I have some.
This is not the PsyOps League. There's talent to be had.
No, there's actually talent in the second round.
I think next week we should probably go over the draft, like the results of the rookie draft. But that's like the only thing.
We'll go over the results of the rookie draft. We'll do a playoff preview. The other thing I want to say is I have a company party on Tuesday, so we'll have to record this on Wednesday. So the show will come out Thursday next week. I hope that works for everybody.
Or we could do it. It's either Wednesday or we could do it Monday after the game.
Monday after the game, I'm actually going to a pre-pregnancy course at the hospital where Kelly is delivering, so I'll be busy then too.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, that seems important.
Yeah.
Wednesday's learning about really graphic things about humanity. So it's actually fascinating.
Come on, it's just breathing exercises and fucking teaching you how to not pass out when you see your fucking
there's that
come out. That's all it is.
You do have to deal with.
You want to see the placenta?
Yourself, yeah.
All right, push like a lineman. Push like a lineman.
Kenneth Walker trying to get through the Seahawks offensive line.
Oh my god. Yeah, you need a C-section to get out of that shit.
Fuck.
Take the drugs.
All right, guys.
Yeah, take the epidural. That's all I can say.
That's it.
Well, defense wins championships.
Yeah, defense
and
wins
sucks.
And fuck all three of you.
I mean, it's your fault.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I should stop saying fuck all three of you because, my team does suck.
No, that's part of the bit.
It's part of the bit.
It is part of the sign.
Maybe it'll change when your team gets better.
Maybe it'll change when my team gets better, and I can just be like, eat it.
We'll workshop it next season, but no promises.
Exactly. If I do better, but that's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
All right,
All right, guys.
Later.
Hey, boys.
Good night.
Talk to you soon.
Later.